לך דודי, לה 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 לקראת קלה, לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לה 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 לקראת קלה, לה 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 בני שבת נקבלה, לה 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 לך דודי, לה 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 לקראת קלה, לה 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 בני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, כי השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד שמו אחד, ושם ולתפארת ולתחילה. לה 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 לך דודי, לה 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 לקראת קלה, לה 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 בני שבת נקבלה, לה 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 לך דודי, לה 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 לקראת קלה, לה 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 בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לה 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 לך דודי, לה 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 לקראת קלה, לה 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 בני שבת נקבלה, לה 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 לך דודי, לה 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 לקראת קלה, לה 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 בני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה וצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לה 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 לך דודי, לה 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 לקראת קלה, לה 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 בני שבת נקבלה, לה 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 לך דודי, לה 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 לקראת קלה, לה 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 בני שבת נקבלה. והגיון ליבי לפניך, יהיו לרצון עם רפי, והגיון ליבי לפניך.
Light me up with your fire bright, raising sparks paint the black skyline. I've been lost many times before. Oh, bright light, guide me home. Ooh.
Everybody take a nice big deep breath. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Candy, for sharing some important information. I want to welcome you all to Shabbat here at Temple Beth Israel, whether you're here in the sanctuary with us or online. We have a very special evening tonight as we recognize, honor, and engage with our women of TBI, who will be significantly participating and helping to lead this evening's service. If you don't know me, I'm Cantor Paul Bush. I serve here at Temple Beth Israel with Rabbi Jonathan Kupitz. Rabbi is on sabbatical in Israel for most of the rest of this month. He'll be back for the Shabbat on the 25th of March, but I know he would want me to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. And we're going to get started in our service by turning to page 24 for words of welcome, Shalom Aleichem. And to the extent that I could, we're using all melodies this evening that were composed by women composers, and I'll share some of the new ones that we're going to add in tonight, a tiny bit about that as we get to that point in our service. I also want to just mention, for those of you who are joining us online, we had a power failure earlier today, So we don't have the usual amount of control over our cameras and things that we normally would have. So we try to at least fix them in a position where you can access most of what's going on in the service. But if there's anything else that's amiss, hopefully it won't be noticeable to everyone out there in Cyber Shul. So our apologies for that, but that's what they call force majeure, I guess. Page 24. Please join with me. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Lochem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barchuni L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Seidchem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'd like to invite Candy Fisher and Laura Zuckerman to the Bima as they contribute our first two Kavanot, our first two spiritual connection readings.
We were not born in the same family. We did not play together as children, nor did we celebrate together the milestones of growing up, going off to school, marrying, and raising families. But from that moment on, when each of us chose to enter the doors of our synagogue, we became one another's family. We adopted and were adopted by one another in a sense. There is a common bond that unites us in spirit and in love, though we could never have known it would be so. Some of us are into our golden years, while others have young children at home. Some of us are married, others divorced or widowed, or perhaps living alone or with a partner by choice. There is enormous variety in our educational backgrounds and our chosen professions. Among ourselves, we have vast array of talents to share, and yet, different as we are, we feel that unmistakable pull towards one another.
When we were in the desert, you commanded us to build a tabernacle, a mishkan. You asked all who were willing to bring building materials, gold, silver, wood, yarn, and all who were skilled to use these things to build according to your specifications. Our ancestors carried out your instructions and built their sacred community. Today, we still hear your command to build a sacred community. We bring to it our care for young and old, for the sick, for the needy, and especially the bonds we form with each other through our shared interest in the work of our synagogue, our Ohel Moed. May you bless our efforts as you blessed those of our ancestors.
Thank you, Laura and Candy. I invite now our women of TBI to, those of you who are participating in blessing our Shabbat lights, to come to the bima. We're on page 2 as a congregation. I invite you to please rise. And just one note, we have lit the candles at our family service earlier this evening, but we invite our women to say the blessing. And you have to approach the microphone.
Oh, you don't want to use this one?
I'd like you to use this
Okay.
one, please.
Sure.
As these Shabbat
Candles
candles
give light to all who behold them,
so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kireshanu b'mitzvotah, v'tzivanu shel Shabbat. Thank you. You may be seated. I invite Nancy Ambrose and Deborah Kummerman to share a reading. Oh, okay. Just Nancy. Deborah will be with us a little later in our program.
We enter the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer.
Thank you, Nancy. We started the service just a few minutes ago with one deep breath. I'm going to invite us to take 3 deep breaths. As we inhale and exhale and just hold the peace that is within us for a moment, just to clear out all of the challenges of the week, all of the stresses. One breath in, one breath out. We turn our attention to the entrance of our sanctuary, where we symbolically welcome the Shabbat bride with the words of Lecha Dodi. One more breath, breathing in, breathing out. This is one of those new melodies I mentioned. Not new in the corpus of Jewish music. It's probably a few years old, but I think close to 20 actually. Written by a individual from up north named Elaine Moyes. And Randy and I will teach you the refrain, and then you will have what you need, hopefully, to join with us. We'll be on page 20 and 21 in our Siddur, and as is our custom, we'll do stanzas 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to 9, I'll motion you to rise and, as I mentioned, symbolically welcome the Shabbat bride. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Try with me. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamoy v'zachor b'dibur echad ishmi'anu el hamiuchan. Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. לקראת שבת מכוון אלך, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם ניסוחה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי, לקראת עלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי, לקראת עלה פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שדברי כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. One more time. לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. You may be seated. I invite back to the Bima Candy Fisher as we turn to page 26 for Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rabba.
Amen.
Be'ama divra kutek v'yam likma kute. B'kaye kon v'yom ekon. Uvkaye deko Beit Israel. Bagala, bagala. Uvizman kariv. V'maru, amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarak. Le'alam ulamei amaya. Yitbarak, Yitbarak, V'yishtabak, V'yitpa'ar, V'yifroman, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitale, V'yitala, Shemeda Kudisha, Bariku, Le'elamin Kol Birkata V'shirata, Tush Bekata V'nekemata, Dami Rambiyama, V'maru, amen.
Renee Marcus, you have a reading to share with us.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to share with you the wisdom of our mothers and how hopefully they influence our lives. May we be like Sarah, who laughed and kept a light heart, even if it was just in disbelief that God would allay her barrenness. May we be like Rebekah, who listened to God even when the words made no sense at all, that the younger would lead the older and be the mother of a great people. May we be like Leah and like Rachel in their loyalty and love for one another, even in the midst of difficult times. May we be like Ruth in daily choosing for ourselves to live as Jews, even during these days of unseen danger and hatred. May we be like Esther, who recognized not only the power of her beauty, but also used her courage and strength of will to save our people. May we be like Miriam, free to speak up, not just for ourselves, but for justice for all. May we be like our great-grandmothers, conversos, secretly maintaining Judaism at home, shepherding their families through pogroms and holocausts, and finally across oceans so that their children could be Jews. May we be like our mothers and grandmothers who gave us the power to think for ourselves and the love of God so we could choose this faith freely. May we be like Shifra and Pua, gently birthing ourselves to fully become women of value, our worth beyond rubies for all whom we touch. Thank you.
We rise for Baruch Hu on page 28.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hambarak. Baruch Adonai Hambarak Le'olam Va'ed. Praised Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praised be Adonai, to whom praise is due, now and forever.
Lai la 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 lai. Lai la 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 lai. Lai la 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 lai la 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 lai lai la 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 lai. Lai la 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 lai la 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 lai lai la 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 lai. Lai lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated, and I invite Leslie Miller to join us and share a reading.
Shalom. You created light and darkness, the possibility of peace within a warring world. All forms and creatures who acknowledge their only common bond in you. You open daily the gates of the east, cleave the windows of the sky, bring forth the sun from its place, the moon from its abode. The sky, the sun, the moon are far from us, yet their Creator created us, and so their world is ours, their light is ours, though we must often gather up their light from the dark places where it has fallen. Bring forth their light, that ours may shine anew. You who have created light are praised.
Last three lines in the Hebrew on 30. El chai v'kayam, taminim l'chaleinu l'olam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, hamarim Praised are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. We continue with Shema Yisrael and Ve'ahavta. I invite Sarah Hamid and Deborah Kummerman to join us.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
If it is your custom to rise for Shema, I invite you to do so. Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol avacha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher onochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, vidibarta bam, bishiftecha bevetecha, uvlektecha vaderek, uvshochbecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yedecha, vichayula totafot, veinenecha, uktavtam, Al muzuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'chen kedoshim leolehem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti ethem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem leolehim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Sarah. Every service, morning and evening, our tradition directs us to turn our hearts to the east, not to the traditional eastern location of Yerushalayim, but a little further south, to the Yam Suf, the Sea of Reeds, the place where our ancestors crossed through from slavery to freedom, and recall the miracle of that occasion with the words of Micha Mocha. Debbie Friedman, who we've also already sung her Shalom Aleichem at the beginning of the service and her Shema just a moment ago, wrote an incredible version of Miriam's song, the song that Miriam and the women sang as they reached safety and at least temporary security on the other side. So I'm going to invite you to turn in your Sidurim to page, hold on, I have to get the exact page here. Miriam's song is on page 342, and certainly join in with a raucous chorus as we sing the words of Miriam's song, the song at the sea that the women sang, or at least in Debbie's mind that the women sang, the song that the women sang in Debbie's creation.
And the women dancing with the timbrel followed Miriam as she sang a song. Sing a song, the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women sang and sang all night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one who sang our history. With every strand and every thread crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances towards the light. And the women dancing with the timbrel followed Miriam as she sang a song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. And Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea. The wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass through freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with the timbrel followed Miriam as she sang a song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. And Miriam the prophet took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just like she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, sang with praise and might. We just lived through a miracle, we're gonna dance tonight. And the women dancing with the timbrel followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. One more time. And the women dancing with the timbrel followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long.
Chris Gacci on timbrels, ladies and gentlemen. Last paragraph in the Hebrew on page 30, on page 40.
V'ne'emar ki fadar Adonai et Yaakov ugalo meyad chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai gal Yisrael.
I'd like to invite Marian DeMello to share a reading with us, please.
Shabbat Shalom. Giver of peace, teach us to see ourselves in the face of the other, that we may learn to be patient with fault, generous with love, sparing with anger. Help us to understand that our lives are potted with great good, that we are healers in your image, that reaching out in need of you to others more in need, we find you near. Give us the grace simply to be kind. Then peace must surely come to dwell among us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marianne. So in our Devar Torah spot this evening, among other things, you're going to hear about this next tefillah that we're going to include in our service, Vishamru, which you'll find in the top part of page 44. The melody for Vishamru that we're going to share is by Marcia Addy. Marcia is a cantor and a musician of great talent and energy, and a huge neshama who lives in the Bay Area, one of my co-ordinees from the Academy for Jewish Religion. As I said, Mikey Ryan will share her perspective and her connection with Vishamru in a few minutes, but please turn your hearts to the words on page 44 as we thank the Holy One for the gift of Shabbat.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asor et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'aretz eshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et haaretz shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asor et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam V'yom ha'shvi'i Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash V'yom ha'shvi'i Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asor et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael et ha-olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam oti le'olam la-da-da-bam-bam ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da ya-da-da-da ya-da-da-da-da ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Joan Reyes, please.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I begin with the prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. Thank you. Thank you.
We turn now to the core of our service, our Amidah, or our Tefillah, beginning on page 46. And I'd like to invite Sarah Hamid back to the Bima, along with her mom, Tammy Schneider.
Good Shabbos. I just want to add one little thing. The Torah portion about the baby wars between Leah and Rachel and Zilpah and Bilhah was Sarah's Torah portion. And she asked me, why don't we add Bilhah and Zilpah, Mom? So when Sarah and I say the Amidah, we include Bilhah and Zilpah. And so I invite you to join us, including them if you so choose. Oh, Bilhah and Zilpah were the handmaids of Rachel and Leah, and their children are counted as the 12 tribes of Israel. And there's a debate. Schneider might argue that they are actually wives at one point. Okay.
She is Schneider, just for clarification, yeah.
Okay. Adonai sifatai tiftach yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Elohei Bilhah v'Zilpah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah.
Page 50.
Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav lehoshia, Mori haruach, Umarid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memid umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah lechayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh. What? Kadosh, Shimcha Kadosh, Ukodshim b'chol yom, Echaluya Selah,
Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
I'm good.
Let's take a few moments of private meditation when you are filled your spirit with the words or the feelings that are touching you right now. You may take a seat. I'd like to invite Randy to the bima to share some words of introduction about a musical selection he'd like to share with us all.
Shabbat Shalom. So the piece I'm going to share is a setting of the prayer Sim Shalom, which is typically played after the Amidah on Shabbat mornings. So a little bit out of place, but it's okay. This is a setting, again, probably almost 20 years old, by cantor Natalie Young in South Orange County. I particularly like her music and have shared it to you all over the years. And the translation of the prayer, Sim Shalom, is grant peace, goodness, blessing, grace, loving kindness, and mercy to us and to all of Israel, your people. Bless us, our Creator, all of us as one with the light of your face or countenance. So this is Sim Shalom and Natalie Young's 2006 setting.
Thank you so much, Randy. Mikey Ryan has been leading our Torah study here at Temple Beth Israel for many decades, and it's my pleasure and honor to invite her to share some words of Torah with you this evening.
Ah, I feel so young.
Well, it's true.
Yes, it is. Baruch atah Adonai, blessed is God, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, creator of the universe, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, who has given each of us the capability of achieving holiness through the righteous acts we perform, vitzivanu, and commanded us, la'asok b'divrei Torah, to study the words of Torah. Now, clearly, Cantor Paul and I have chatted about this Torah portion because as I was reading it, I realized that the Vishamru was in the portion. So, I emailed and said, say, look, the Vishamru, we should do something. And ever gracious as he is, he responded, absolutely. But why is the Vishamru? Turn to page 44. Back to page 44. Why is it in this particular Torah portion is interesting. So let's get there. The storyline, the highlights. Moses goes up to the mountain to get the 2 tablets of the 10 Commandments, words, utterances. He's up there. He and God are having a great time. God says to Moses, you might want to go down the mountain. I don't think things are going well. All right, so schlepping the 2 tablets, Moses goes down the mountain, and what does he discover? Of course, he discovers that the Israelites at base camp have made a molten calf, Baal, one of the major Egyptian gods. He's a little upset. He smashes and breaks the tablets. God isn't pleased either. But one thing that Moses does is convince God not to abandon the Israelites. So, back up the mountain Moses goes. Now, he's coming down from the mountain with a second set of tablets. But his face is radiant. Moses has emunah, complete trust in God. So much so that the indwelling presence of God is actually shining out to the world. Moses has complete faith. The Israelites, not so much. They haven't reached that point. Yes, they left Egypt. Yes, they think the manna that comes every day is just wonderful. But they haven't really connected with God. They have connected with Moses, but not yet with the intensity that Moses has in connecting with God. So God decides on a gift to give to the Israelites. And here is where we have a discussion of Shabbat. Here is where we have a discussion that leads to the Vishamru. God has two requirements for observing Shabbat, or Zakor, as we have it here. One, that it's a day holy unto God, and two, that it's a day of complete rest. Because this way, every week, every Israelite, and now every Jew as time has moved forward, can engage with God on a regular basis. But that's all it says. A day holy unto God, a day of complete rest. There's no, you have to light the candles by sunset. There's no, you must have challah on Friday night. The rest of it is left up to us. And I think we've seen a marvelous example of that just on this Erev Shabbat, at this Shabbat service, with the marvelous creative prayers that we have heard. The wonderful music from many different women composers. The fact that Tammy Schneider and her daughter have added to our Avot Ve'ima'ot prayer by adding Bilhah and Zilpah. Each of us has taken this idea of Shabbat and brought it forward in time and in space to make it our own, individually and collectively as a group. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. And here we are in 5783, still observing Shabbat. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed, just as we should cease from work and be refreshed, and then be ready to go out and do tikkun olam, repairing the world. Baruch atah Adonai hamlamed Torah lamo Yisrael. Blessed is God who has given the Torah to the people Israel. And let us say, Amen.
Thank you so much, Mikey. Before we turn our hearts to those who are in need of healing, I want to invite Harriet DiBasilio to share a reading.
We reach for you, our God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight on the shadow of the leaves for a brief moment. Listen to the world. Let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness of the sanctuary which the soul cherished. Renew the covenant of an ancient people. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the rate of our own deeds against the heaviness of the world's demands. The balance is precarious, steady with faith. Our quiet places and stillness where we will hear our own best impulses speak. Quiet places and stillness from which we will reach out to each other. We will find strength in silence, and with this strength, we will turn again to your service.
Thank you so much, Harriet. We turn in our Sidurim to page 253, where you will find our prayer for healing. If you have a name that you would like to share with us online, please do so in the chat. And in addition to reading our list of congregational names, I will be coming into the sanctuary to hear names of anyone you would like to add to our prayers for healing. Page 253. Mishabeirach Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha Lavotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. We ask for healing for Rebecca Gilman, Hannah Fields Austin, Sue Toback, Rosalind Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Pam Poliakov, Kathy Blumenfeld, Caitlin Antrim, Jennifer Rudin, Brad Holland, Serena Postal, Bobby Kay, Robert Strober, Marilyn Lubarsky, Ellery Einstein, Patricia Kramer, Joan Morse, Nomi Kravitz, Craig Sachs, Simon Saul, Myra White, Lori Snyder, Charity Rezadeh, Mike Klein, Lily Morrison, Barbara Fass, Joel Beasy, Burton Gershman, David Bush, Howard Bush, Lawson Spicer, Mark Fenton, Gloria Foster, Rita Warshaw, Ira Quatcher, Robert Gerard, Stephen Artz, Adele Harris, Brenda Fong Gerard, Ron Friedlander, Harvey Sherman, Jan Marcus, Fred Fable, Marla Fregroso, Candy Stevens, Martin Cole, Al Shapiro, Jeff Nelson, Oran Resnick, James Stead, Gina Eli, Robert Waldman, Barry Gustafaro, Udik Gratz-DeLong, Bonnie Stead, Cantor Aviva Rosenblum, Pedro Aragon, Cynthia Tolentino, Eva Laxon, Mar Gassner, Gloria Wagman, Donna Raphael, and Christy Teague. If you have a name to share, please do so as I pass through the sanctuary.
Mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I'd like to invite Candy Fisher back to the Bema to share some announcements with us.
On behalf of your Board of Trustees, thank you for being here both online and in the sanctuary. Tadal Rabbah to Cantor Bush and to the women of Temple Beth Israel, no, to the amazing women of Temple Beth Israel for leading our service this evening. Appreciation always to Dr. Polavoy for his beautiful and thoughtful musical selection and accompaniment, and to Claudia Gonzalez for bringing our Shabbat service to everyone online. Thank you to the women of Temple Beth Israel for sponsoring tonight's Oneg, and appreciation to this evening's greeters, Phyllis Blackie, Sharon Sachs-Regalado, Beth Litton, Judy Rose, and Kylie Sykes. After services, we gather in the social hall for Kiddush, motzi, refreshments, and conversation. So please take this time to get to know someone new, which will help us continue to build our warm Jewish community. We are a very busy and engaged community. I would like to highlight just a few of the upcoming events. This Sunday, Brotherhood is inviting the congregation to a docent-led tour of Descanso Gardens, which begins at 11 o'clock on Sunday. Please contact Don Pollock or Isaac Kaufman if you can go, as carpools are forming. And I believe that the Brotherhood members are free and their guests are only $10. I stand corrected on that, but I believe that it's a nominal fee for those who go. And next Sunday, please join Adult Jewish Learning and the women of Temple Beth Israel as we enjoy and taste Passover recipes from around the world. That's 2 o'clock till 3:30 in our social hall next Sunday, and please RSVP through the TBI office. For more information about these and so many other events, please look in your March Kehillah and your weekly e-blast. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Candy, for being the one of the organizing forces behind tonight, along with so many of the other women of TBI. I want to especially thank Chris Gacci for contributing her percussion, and one of the things that Chris is planning for the hopefully very near future is to have a women's and young, a multi-generational women's drumming circle here at TBI. So look for some information about that coming soon. Other than that, Candy mentioned a huge number of events. We also have our Passover preparation classes, one with me and one with Rabbi Kupitz, coming up towards the end of the month. We have, if we look forward a little bit, Brotherhood Magic Night coming up in the end of April. So just stay tuned to your Kehillah or our website or our social media, and stay informed and look for other ways that you can engage. Next week's service, just a reminder, is a 7 o'clock service. It's a Shabbat Together service. We only have one service next week. It will be at 7 p.m. It's preceded at 6 p.m. by a BYO to eat on your own and perhaps to share dinner that begins at 6. So right here in the social hall, and we move into Shabbat for a service for a kind of compacted a little bit for an hour because we want to be sensitive to some of the kids who will be with us, and we look forward to seeing you then. As we move to close our service, I invite us to all turn to page 282 in our Sidurim and rise as the ark is open for Aleinu L'Shabbat.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו We turn our hearts now to those who have passed from our community in recent weeks and those who have left us at this time in seasons past. We particularly remember those who are in the period of, whose families are in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning. Lavan Duncan, mother of Dennis Duncan, Connie Shapiro, wife of Al Shapiro, Jay Edelberg, spouse of Peggy Saunders, and Charles Nelson, father of Ellie Nelson. We also mark the yahrzeit this week of Myron Sanford Feinstein, Rose Katz, Miriam Satin, Paul Schenfeld, Ernst Silton, Abraham Cutler, Nancy King, Lee Larder, Esther Moiko, Jack Wagman, Michael Wiegand Sr., Samuel Kamenker, Carol Chabreau, Martin Baer, Abram Handelsman, Brad McNamara, Tilly Rotman, Miriam Schwab, and Abraham Schneiders. If you have a name you'd like to share of someone who you are remembering on this day, please do so. And those of you who are online who wish to share a name, please enter it in the chat. Thank you, Debbie. If you're in a time of mourning or observing a yahrzeit, I invite you to rise. Oh, I'm sorry, Randy. My apologies. Jeanette Polovoy. If you're in a time of mourning or observing a yahrzeit, I invite you to rise at this time. And if it is your custom to rise in love and support of those who mourn, to do so also at this time as we turn to page 294 for our Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon uv'yom echon uv'chayev dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'alam ulalmei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel and all humankind, to which we say, amen. If you wouldn't mind, remain standing while I invite Kylie Sykes to the bima to share a closing reading, and then we'll close with Biado.
Shabbat Shalom. O source of life, on this very special evening nears its end, we are grateful for the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We offer our thanks to you for the bonds that link our women in friendship, service, commitment, and worship. Help all of us to remember to remember that in loving one another, we show our love of you. In listening to one another, we hear your voice. In forgiving each other's shortcomings, we acknowledge your perfection. In serving our congregation, we carry out your divine will.
Beyado, bottom of page 321.
Beyado av kiruchi, ve'eni shan ve'ahira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo ira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo ira. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. Beyado, Beyado of
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us, those who join us virtually. For those of us here in the sanctuary, please join us in the social hall for Kiddush, Motzi, refreshment, and conversation. And once again, thank you so much to women of TBI for such a moving and beautiful service. Shabbat Shalom.